Howdy, folks. Welcome to our preview of racing today. It's a Thursday, and I'm happy to report that the weather has been better in the last couple of days than it was earlier on in the week, hence the loss of Tuesday's racing. But they have put on an extra work riders meeting on Tuesday coming up on the 15th of November. Lyall Cooper, good morning to you.
Yes. Morning, Nico. Yeah, looking forward to that. So they've moved it to Tuesday, which is great. There was no local race meeting on that day.
Yeah, there's racing at Fairview, I think, on Tuesday, but they've added in the work riders meeting, which doesn't affect matters too much because none of the jockeys riding at Fairview will be affected by the addition of that race meeting on Tuesday. So that's good news from a full race perspective. Very clever. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. The penetrometer reading today is still 25, and this was taken this morning. So the track condition as it stands right now, it may well get a little bit better, but I don't know how much better, because there's still moisture in the air. But the track condition, good to soft. We've had 62.7 millimeters of rain in Turffontein in the last 7 days. The false rail is 4 meters out on the back straight and on the bend, and there's a 4-meter spur at the 500-meter marker. Randall Simons is not riding, but interestingly enough, in 2 of the races today, and those are both for Johannesburg van Vuren. Now, something's happened there. We obviously not at liberty to say what's happened, not that we know, but I'm sure that they've got their valid reasons as to what happened there. But Randall Simons is riding on the card, just not riding in the 2 races that he was carded to ride for the Johannesburg van Vuren yard. Right, let's go to the card today. Lyall hopefully has gone through it a lot harder than I have. Unfortunately, guys, firstly, I didn't have the time to go through the full card, so I've only studied the first half. Secondly, Lyall, when I got to race, it's amazing how the brain or the mind works. When I got to race 3, I suddenly switched into the mode thinking we were on the Vaal straight.
That's it.
Yeah, Vaal straight.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to go back and restudy.
Oh, no.
So anyway, I lost my way completely, but I'm relying on you heavily for today's broadcast.
Well, it hasn't been a good start because you asked me to send you a jackpot and I sent you the wrong races. So we fixed that.
Yeah.
It's been a bad start. Let's hope it improves.
Yeah. Well, by the way, we have taken a position today in our Take a Bet show. We're going for the first jackpot, which, because there are 9 races, starts in race 5.
Yeah. 9.
So there are 9 races. So we're going for the first jackpot, starts in race 5. Okay, let's go to the card. Race 1 off an early start midday, and that is a maiden plate over 2,000 meters. In race 1, a tongue tie goes on number 4, Royal Raphael. No blinkers for number 7, Harcourt. And I'll bring up the betting whilst you tell us what you think is going to win the first.
Right, so I just found this card very difficult to find winners, Nico. And as you know, and the punters know, I'm very honest. So if I'm not sure in a race, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to make it up. And I found a lot of these races today very difficult. I'm starting in race number 1. I thought the value lay with number 1, Big Guy, Caden Brewer, drawn 1, Alec Laird. Yep, beaten by number 2, Gregor McGregor last time, but did beat Gregor McGregor on that penultimate there, and did have Otto Lakin behind on that penultimate. So I thought from that draw, number 1 is a big runner here. The 2, obviously, on the last run is a big runner. Number 3, Greenback Currency. This is an interesting debutante up here in the Highveld. Has been gelded now with Wyo Mowing. And the form lines are okay. There have been 6 winners from the last 3 form lines. Could be anything. And I also wanted to mention both number 5, US Open, who could improve, and number 4, Royal Raphael, who we found for a place last time, Nico, 25-1.
That's right, you did.
So,
you did.
Yeah, so to be honest, 1, 2, I'll probably go 1, 2, and 4.
Yeah, I've just gone for Big Guy twice too many, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you.
He has not produced the goods. He has not really kicked on in the times I've been for him. I suppose we shouldn't be excluding him altogether because I think he's got a chance. But the interesting horse for me in the race was number 5, US Open. I think this horse is looking for the 2,000 meters. I've gathered that in his last 2 runs, that he's wanting further ground. I've seen him as an individual, and I think he's a nice striding, big striding horse. So I'm thinking maybe US Open might be my play here. Just very quickly, being a progeny of the United States, I went back to look at the progeny of the United States because we've only had a couple of seasons of them. And I noticed 2 very decent horses by the United States. One is East Coast, right? He ran a place in the Victory Moon Stakes. And the other one is Tyrconnell, who you'll remember ran a terrific first effort for Mike de Kock. And I think that they could be effective over ground. So I'm taking a position here that the right horse may well be US Open, number 5.
Good fun. 8 to 1.
And I'm going for that 8-10 to 1 in the first. Okay. By the way, there is one other I want you to keep an eye on. Not that I think it can win, but certainly for the
nuclear force
quartets. Down at the bottom, number 10, Street Ahead. Look at its runs. Look at its run over the course and distance back in September. I know it was against fillies, but that was against Rarotonga Rose, who isn't bad. So that's right. 20 to 1, and it's carrying a lightweight. So I just don't know.
Cornish did mention place chance there, by the way.
Oh, did he? Okay, well, I'm happy to note that. Okay. Yep. So if he said there's a place chance, I think that that's possibly the right definition of it. Place chance in first. Okay, let's go to race 2. Race 2 is a graduation plate, fillies and mares. It runs at 12:30. It's over 1,600 meters. In the second race, scratched is number 6, Intoxicating. Now, this is a late change. It only came through at 6:30 this morning that Intoxicating was out. So we now have just 6 runners going to post, but there's a short priced favorite, Moraine, number 4, at 4.5 to 10, basically. And that's going to shorten even further now.
Yannick, I don't like the price at all, but this is my one banker on the card, Moraine. Keegan Miller for Johan Jans van Vuren. Good debut or average debut. Didn't get a big field, but a nice win. And then that run last time was outstanding. None other, Ferrari Gold were behind. So on a line through Captain Peg, this is a big runner. But it's not one-way traffic. Liliana, I thought, number 3, Simple. And number 7, Ready to Fly. Just to tell the punters, Mike de Kock did say, ignore the last run, is a nice filly. Nice filly. But if you look at that run behind Captain Peg, is held by number 4, Moraine. So for me, Moraine is going to be my most confident bet on the card. And that just says a lot because I think she is beatable. This is a decent field, but we'll take a stance right here.
Yeah, obviously we've got an interest in our filly number 7, Ready to Fly, and I know Mike thinks a lot higher of her than what you see on the paper and what the form suggests. And I'm expecting her to run certainly in the first 3 today in the small field, certainly in the first half of the field. So I made Moraine the horse to beat, and I'm hoping that Ready to Fly improves into that second position today. And I'll be taking some exactors 4 and 7 there. But I do think that Ready to Fly will improve. I don't know whether it can beat the favorite. And I believe with you that we're on to Moraine as a good thing in race number 2.
We have to take a stance.
Okay, let's move on to the third at 1:05. Start of the place accumulator. A merit rated 70 handicap, 1,000 meters. Scratch chair number 4, Great Times, is out. And that's the only change that I can see. Let's go to the betting. Well, the joint favorites are 2 Dancing Dora and 3 Clean Living. They're both at 9 to 4. And then you've got number 1, Stormy Seas, at 5 to 1. How did you see the third opening leg of the PA working out?
Sure. Again, these races are just so, I don't know how to say it. They're weakish, if I could say that. It's a bad word. But Stormy Seas, for me, that is not Stormy Seas' run last time. Being beaten 5 lengths beyond Dancing Dora. I actually quite liked Stormy Seas last time, and I think I even spoke to Roy or Casey, and they were happy. They thought that he'd run a good race, and I think he will today again. So Stormy Seas for me is the value at 5 to 1. And then after that, I think the betting is correct. Dancing Dora and Clean Living. I know that Cornish is fairly confident of a good run here. After that, Nico, back to basics. I mean, for me, it's 1, 2, and 3. Probably my order, I'll go 1, 3, and 2.
Yeah, so as I said, I started studying for the wrong track. So initially, if you study for the Vaal main track, and you get a draw of 1, you're sort of thinking, can it negate that? Can it come across in a small field of 9 and all of that? But those questions aren't asked if you're on the Turffontein inside track and you've got a draw of 1, which is the case with Clean Living. Yeah, I am very happy with the Clean Living's draw. However, she has to shoulder 58 kilos, but she is, I think Muzi Yeni will ride her to the front. I don't think that,
Yep.
if he rides
He
in
will.
front, I think that she'll be right there. He rides well,
Correct.
Cornet Spies. If you look at the jockey and trainer stats, Muzzi's had 16 rides for 2 wins and 8 places. So that's 10 out of 16, more than half finished in the top 4. So I'm thinking, for me, number 3, Clean Living, may well be the right horse over here. She might, from a 1 draw, just speed away from them. I do agree with you on one point, that Stormy Seas and Dancing Dora will finish a lot closer than 5 lengths between them, as was the case last time. I don't think that.
And I must mention, Nico, if they're looking for a price here, it's not too much of a price, but Back to Basics does hold Dancing Dora on that run on the 4th of October weight-wise. Yeah. So that's why I said it's not an easy race. But, Nico, just listening to you there and looking at this field as I did, I think you might be right. I think Clean Living, because of the draw, might be the right one. I'm going to change them and put them 3, 1, 2.
Yeah.
And then 5.
I think it just might favour Clean Living in terms of the draw. Okay, race 4 is up next. It started at pick 6 today, being 9 races. 13:40 is the off time. It's merit rated 96 handicap over 1,000 meters. And in race 4, scratch is number 9. Ex-Essentialist is out. Scratch number 9. Jockey on number 6, Sheldon, is Gavin Larena. And then number 8, Cool Winter. Important to note that the blinkers are off. It wore the blinkers last time out. I see that these blinkers on Cool Winter have now come off. So there is the betting. By the way, I just want to shout out to a viewer, and he might have a valid point. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but he sent us an email, one of our viewers, and I'll tell you right now what he said to me. His name is Noel Boyson. So a shout out to Noel Boyson for taking the time to actually message us. And we do like the comments and suggestions that we come through. And he says, Nico, it should help a lot if you guys give the horse's number instead of a name. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sitting with no race card and no lineup. And in race 6, you guys are talking about Bronco, Blitz, and Spielberg without numbers. It doesn't help me much, but anyway, thanks for the efforts. What is your thought on that? I've never been one to talk about numbers. I've always talked about names. So I think it's just for Noel's information, it's not deliberate. I trust you that. It's just because we've got into a routine of always saying names. We'll try and mention the numbers as well. We do have the numbers on our screen, by the way, on some broadcasts. But what is your thought on that?
Well, to be honest, I'm a bit like Noel. I also quite like numbers, Nico, to be honest. And you'll hear me when I'm presenting on course and TV, I do refer to the numbers all the time.
Okay.
So I know exactly what Noel means. I quite like the numbers as well. Probably even more so than the name. I hear him.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you see, Neil and I are pretty old school. We mention names. So we when Neil and I get together, it's problematic anyway, as you know.
And Nick, I must admit as well, when I can't pronounce a name, I just use the number and I just pretend. So on a number 4's got a good chance. Because there are quite a few I can't pronounce.
That Icelandic volcano springs to mind anyway.
Oh, I got that one. Ayafayakatu.
Yeah. Certain people haven't, but we'll leave it.
I got it.
Okay, let's go to this 4th race. Now, the betting suggests Ridge Runner was the chalked up original favorite 2-1, but it's drifted slightly to 9-4. In fact, it was a bit more than 2-1, but it's at 9-4 now. Sheldon has been backed into 5-2. That's the second favorite. And then Cool Winter down the bottom is at 7-2. Just very quickly, I wanted to see what Roy Magna's comments were, because he's got a couple here, and both are returning from rests. Retallick returning from a 6-month break, and Marengo returning from 8.5 months off. And the comment from Roy Magna in the front of the computer form is rested, now fit and well. Both of these are 10-1. But let's talk about the fancied runners first. Let's talk about the Sheldon Ridge Runner Cool Winter contingent. Which one are you going for out of those 3?
Well, I can see that you and I are reading the race similarly already, because if Retallick arrives with his A game, good luck to them. But our number 6, Sheldon, is my first selection. And I'm a bit sad I went to 5-2, because it was 4-1 yesterday afternoon.
Oh, was it? Okay.
That run behind a Pico, Shayavana, Flowerbomb behind. That 5th behind Faroe Winter was a very strong form line. 55.5, drawn 1. This is my horse today. I think Sheldon might get it right today. 697 days he hasn't won, but maybe he's found the right field here. But obviously, Seven Ridge Runner is a runner that run behind Thunderstruck, very good run. Anfield's Rocket, we know what Anfield Rocket's done. That's number 7 for Noel, by the way. Number 8, Cool Winter. Mike de Kock's comment's interesting here. 75% fit. Is this horse a 92? He's putting Sianda Sosibo off for the 4, and he's not sure where this horse stands as far as the marriage riding. So I'll be careful with that one, but obviously talent. I mean, this is also, if you look at the form lines. And then, Nico, the first point you brought up, Retallick has run 2 lengths behind Master Archie at level weights. So Marengo has run 2 lengths behind Elysian Chief, giving 1 kilogram.
Giving it half, yeah.
So if these 2 arrive with their A game, I would imagine they'll come first and second. After that, Sheldon, number 6, number 7, and number 8. Boom. What do you think?
Okay, so let's answer the first question first. The of the 3 horses down at the bottom end of the weight, 6, 7, and 8, I think you're right about Sheldon. I think he's got Gavin Larena on today. I'm not demeaning anyone that previously rode him, but I think that he probably needs a senior rider on him to bring out the best in him. And he has not had a senior rider in all his starts in Joburg, certainly since he came here back in September of last year. So I think with the booking of Larena, that is interesting for me. So I would think Sheldon would go really close from a 1 draw today. So I'm certainly putting him in. But the 2 Magna runners interested me, and more so Marengo, funny enough, than Retallick, because of the 4 kilos that Marengo gets from Retallick. I'm a big Justice Van Wyk fan, his owner. I think he's a wonderful guy, and he's a
nice man.
He's a wonderful chap, and he invests quite a bit in this industry, and he's very passionate about it. But this horse only has run over the course and distance once, and he won it. It was very early on in his career, and Brian gets him out fairly quickly. And if Roy Magna is telling us he's fitting well, look at his rest form. Come back from rest twice for a win and a second. Now this is a lengthy break. I'd like you to pay particular attention to both these horses when you're presenting.
I will.
And tell us what you feel about them in the ring and what they look like.
Nico, unfortunately, at Turffontein, I literally, sometimes I do not see the horses at all.
Oh, yeah.
Or see the trainer.
See if you can catch up with the Magna Yard and give us some thoughts.
I'll try.
On what, because I think there's value. I think that's where the value lies, is with the Magna duo, more so Marengo, because 56 kilos interested me, and I think that'll go close today, even at a big price. Okay, so that's race 4. Let's kick off to the 5th race, which is the start of that first jackpot. Runs at 2:15. It's a fillies and mares 89 handicap, and it is over 1,200 meters. In race 5, the changes are nil, so no changes in race 5. So we can go straight into the tips. And here, Vivacious Spirit for the Johan Janssen van Vuren yard is the favorite, number 4 at 15-10. Barring that, you've got No Time Is Taken at 4-1. Golden Aspen, your horse, who you tipped at a huge price when it won, 16-1, 2 runs back. That's at 9-2. And then you've got Princess Nicole and Ramar next. I think it's Vivacious Spirit's race to lose for me. But what did you think about number 4, Vivacious Spirit?
I agree. Vivacious Spirit is a big runner, drawn to Gavin aboard, as you mentioned. On that last run, she did have Rosenwind and Golden Aspen behind her, of course, back from a race, so the horse to beat. But I do have respect, Nico, for number 2, Greens. Yeah. Now, I went on a form line here on that last run when Greens ran behind Flower Bomb. Yeah. Was 3/4 of a length behind Water Honey at level weights. And as you know, the 4 Vivacious Spirit, I'm just going to work this out exactly there, was 1/4 of a length behind, receiving 1.5. So on a line through Water Honey, there's nothing between the 2 of them. Maybe even slightly in the favor of number 2, Greens. But Vivacious Spirit is an up-and-coming horse. So I think personally, Greens is a big runner here. And then, of course, the 4 and then the 5. For me, 4 and 2 probably.
Okay, so going for Vivacious Spirit and Greens.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. But for me, I'm looking at the stable companion to Vivacious Spirit as a possibility. This horse, No Time Is Taken. Now, it runs for the first time for Johan Janssen van Vuren. We know that the ex-Paul Peter runners take a bit of time to acclimatise wherever they're going. Well, not acclimatise essentially, but settle in would probably be the better phrase to use there. So I thought that if there was to be a horse to beat Vivacious Spirit, it'll come from something underneath him in the card, underneath her in the card. So she's number 4. So anything 5, 6, or 7. I'm interested to know that you don't give a shout out to your beloved Golden Aspen. But I was interested in this No Time Is Taken because I did the Kiss Me Captain form line with Golden Aspen. And then you'll see that Golden Aspen ran with Vivacious Spirit in the race behind What a Honey. So I think What a Honey basically has the key here. And you mentioned the What a Honey as a line also with your horse Greens. So for me, I'm in the Johan Janssen van Vuren camp. I like both Vivacious Spirit and No Time Is Taken. And strangely enough, I felt that if there was a horse to beat the 4, that it would be 5, 6, or 7. So that's the way that I looked at race 5, which is the last race I studied. So the rest.
And I must just mention, if you like Golden Aspen, you have to like Princess Nicole and Time Is Taken. So that's where it becomes quite trappy. Okay, so Nico, I think I've already written down our coffee bet here because it's a fair one. I lost you last time. You'll take No Time Is Taken. I'll take Greens. I'm at 10-1. You're at 4-1.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Okay, that's fair. Because last time we did the opposite.
Last time we did I think yours was 6 or 7 to 1. I can't remember. What was yours? Mine was 40 to 1. I remember mine was 33.
And you beat me.
Yeah.
And you beat me. So I will do it again today.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to that. There we go. That's our coffee for today. The coffee bet is Greens for Lyall. No Time Is Taken for me. By the way, all the best to the owner of No Time Is Taken, Deshni Harry. Deshni Harry is the owner, and she's Vassan Harry's daughter, and she's come into the game with a nice flurry. She's got her new colours on board, so all the best to her when she has her horse running later on. Okay, race 6 is the start of the second jackpot at 10 to 3. It's a merit-rated 68 handicap, and it is over 1,500 meters. There are a few changes in race 6, so let's go to them. Number 6, Java House, has a compression mask on. No blinkers for number 7, Giancarlo. By the way, I can confirm very quickly that that second race is now cut up even further. Just go back to race 2. Mike de Kock has scratched both 1 Liliana and 3 Simple.
Wow.
So there are now literally only 4 runners in that race with Moraine.
Match race. It's a match race. So with Moraine, it's going to go to 1 to 10 now.
Yeah. So Liliana 1 is out, and so is 3 Simple. So basically, you've got 4 runners left. Moraine, Ready to Fly, Princess Osman, Young Jackie. I've mentioned them in that order, but I'll mention the numbers. 4, 7, 4, 7, 5, 2. I think that's the way that they'll run.
I would go 4, 7, 5, 2. Correct. Agreed. 100%.
Yeah. So we'll take the straight line quartets there. So that's I've just seen that pop up now, the scratchings of Liliana and Simple. Right, let's go to the 6th race. The money is for Iceman Cometh. Now, there was strong money for this. I think both the last run and the run before that. So they've been backing this horse. And today, 4 to 1 to 28 to 10. Samanga Kamalo back on board, but they put the blinkers on.
Yep. Now, it's in my selection, Nico, but I think this is a terrible little race. Very, very competitive. In fact, my first selection is Iron Tail, the son of Pathwalk for Corner Express, Marco van Rensburg. I like that 5th last time out, the 4th buying back to basics and the win. I think this is my idea of a nice each-way bet. Number 3, Funky Music, so consistent. Hasn't won for a while, but maybe he's in the right place at the right time. Sequoia, I think that's a big runner here, Nico. 11 to 2. Just watch out for this one, even though it's carrying 61. Watch Mike's comments here. The ratings have come down, says Mike, and ready to start winning.
Yes.
How's that for a comment from Mike de Kock? So definitely a big runner. And then Rattlebag and Iceman Cometh. But to me, I think Java House is held by number 3, Funky Music. So cut a long story short, Iron Tail, Funky Music, Sequoia, and then the money horse, Iceman Cometh.
Yeah, I think it is the top half of the card for this one for me. As I said, I haven't looked at it in depth. I certainly expect Funky Music to be very close today because he's just knocking on the door. One feels that he's going to get it right sooner rather than later. And I believe that he was going to be right there today. Funky Music and Ryan Munga. Okay, so that's the take of 6. Nice competitive race, but the money there is clearly for Joey Soma's runner, Iceman Cometh. Race 7 off at 25 past 3 is a novice handicap. It's over 1,600 meters. I can confirm that number 3, Ignatius, and now number 9, Cold Hard Stare, have both been scrapped. So you can scratch those two. Number 9, Cold Hard Stare, is now an additional scratching in race 7. Gavin Larena rides number 1, Kermeso Avanti. Blinkers go on the 6, Just a Memory. And the pressure halter is on number 10, Vesuvio. Let's go to Houston first, because that's number 2, Keegan DeMello, riding it for Candice Dawson. Looked like it would win last time out, and just didn't get to spin, Doctor, but that's the 14-10 favourite.
Yeah, Keegan DeMello for Candice Dawson. Nice jockey booking to retain his services. That run behind Profit was a good one, even though it was well beaten. Riverdeccio, Bless My Stars come out of that form line. So nice form. I think Houston will be right there, but not necessarily at 14-10. For me,
No,
number 4, High Roller.
Yeah, I think it is very, very skinny, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, for me, High Roller much well. Again, High Roller was 9-2, and I see it now sitting at 33-10. So again, price has been taken, obviously the scratchings.
Yeah.
That run behind Pyromaniac, Nico, that's a very good run. And then last time out, second behind Seconde Aurora. The time was a good winning time over course and distance. For me, High Roller is the horse to beat.
Yes.
Third, number five, More Than a Feeling, Calvin Abib for Sean Terry. Just a bit worried about that last form line, though, but could be improvement to come. And then number 7, The Daughter of Duke of Marmalade, back from a lengthy rest. So I'm actually quite strong in 4 from 2. It might just stop there for me, Nico.
Yeah, it might well do. I was extremely impressed, as you mentioned. I mean, that second to Bless My Stars, 6 lengths is looking good. High Roller, Clint Binder teaming up with Ryan Munger. Ryan's never ridden this filly, but has a 1 draw, which is always a positive. And as you mentioned, that run to Pyromaniac is in a graduation plate, goes a bit further. Yeah, I think High Roller might well be the right horse here. 33-10 at the moment, High Roller. We're both seeming to lean towards that one ahead of Houston. And then also like More Than a Feeling and Letha, number 7 after that. Okay, that is race 7. As we move on to the 8th, the penultimate at 4 p.m. It's a classified stakes race over 1,800 meters. Scratched here are numbers 7, Satoshi, and 9, Mandala Effect. 7 and 9 are out of the 8th race. Jockey on number 11, time for that, is JP van der Merwe. He is plus half a kilo. And those are the changes in race 8. This is an awful race, but I see that the money has come for Pragmatist because last time out was a good post maiden in a small field of 4. Number 8 ran second to Good Counsel. This is favourite, backed into 12-10. Is it a 12-10 chance in your book?
No, definitely not, Nico. When I got to this race, I spent like about 20, 30 minutes on it, and I just stopped because I thought, no, for goodness sakes, I can't go through. You know, when you go in those circles of form lines. So I ended up going with Cool by Cal. I like that. What is that? 8-1, Nico? That's a nice price.
Cool by Cal is 8-1. It was 6s. It's gone to 8. So you can benefit from the money on Pragmatist by taking a bigger price. Why do you like it? Just course and distance form, maybe?
I think Robbie Sage could literally send out his kitchen cat and it would run a good race at the moment. Caden Brewer's aboard. They run behind Clarkson. They run behind Blondact. I think the trip's going to be perfect. Merit rating 69, okay. I think in a competitive race, I like the price, Nico, to be honest. Number 8 obviously will be a runner here. Don't like the price. And then a horse like Wandering Star as well. I'm leaning in to see the price. 6-1. Geez, there's plenty of good offerings here on value. Also not running badly. And that was a slightly stronger race last time for Wandering Star. Number 6 for Noel. 5.5 lengths behind Clarkson. Muzieni aboard. Certainly could win this race. High Moon. Back to turf here this afternoon. But if you look at last time he ran on turf, it was a perfectly good run behind Wandering Star. And then even a horse like Valley Magic. Nico, I don't like this race at all. I'm going for value, 4 and 6.
Okay, 4 and 6. I'm going to throw that horse High Moon into the equation here. I think Clinton Binder looking for a good day today out at Turffontein. High Moon is ridden for the first time by Samanga Kamala, but I like that horse's form. And I think it'll be suited by the change in the rider. So High Moon I'm putting in to everything. But we have gone field, just to mention, we have gone field in our take about jackpot that we've done in our show, because we think this could be the problem child leg in today's jackpot.
Could be a problem.
Could be a problem. Right, on to the lucky last. Race 9 at 25-5. Fillies and Mares 74 handicap. It's over 1,800 meters. I'm just updating the changes now. There were none in race 9, so we have no changes to talk about just yet. And let's go to the card. Well, it again is pretty open. 4-1 the favorite. Number 4, Trump My Queen, is 4-1. You've got 6 Strange Magic at 9-2, and then you've got the money for Little Mary Sunshine from 8-1 has been backed into 11-2, despite having to shoulder top weight as a 3-year-old filly drawn outside at 12.
Yeah, sure, not easy. But Mike Cock did say nice filly. The draw's a worry. 61.5 is a worry. But yeah, this trip and more, said Mike Cock. So it's a Silvano. He says she will just keep on improving. So we have to have respect, but the draw and the weight, horrible. I'm going with Trump the Queen. I like this favourite at 4-1, daughter of Captain of All, for the Van Zyl team, Gavin Larena. That was a good one last time, Nico, in a graduation play.
Yeah.
3rd behind Bless My Stars. The 3 runs before that were perfectly fine. And I think from that draw, Trump My Queen could be a runner here going over the 1,800 meters. And then my next 2 will be a bit of value. Number 11, Cerulean Dancer. Chase Majan for Fani Broncos, also drawn wide. But I like those last 2 runs, going slightly up in trip this afternoon. And then a horse like Karen's Legacy, number 9, daughter of Crusade. She really won well last time over the 18. She's got 53 kilograms, drawn 1. And you might notice, Nico, Marco van Rensburg has a little habit of occasionally winning the last race. So the 9 also goes in. But I'm just going to stop there. I could go through quite a few more. I mean, we've got Strange Music, Alistair and Lawrence.
Strange Magic. Yeah.
Who did beat my Karen's Legacy quite cozily. So that could be quite talented as well. Not an easy race. If I had to just go and narrow it down to one, I'll take 4, Trump My Queen. But if I could take more, I certainly would.
Sure. Yeah, I don't like this race. You look at 2 Quiet Rebellion as another interesting runner from the Stuart Petrus stable. She's always there or thereabouts. We've always
number 5, Liverpool Legends, not out of this. That is for sure.
Yeah. No, this isn't a particularly nice race either. I haven't looked at it at all, so I'm only looking at it now. But I'm hearing you all at pains to point out it's open. Your value horse there, Cerulean Dancer, at a big price. Yeah, the 11.
Yeah, I think that would be my value because it is 1,800, so the draw won't kill her. And she's not far back, and she's got 52 kilograms. And Chase has had a good start to his return to South Africa. Yes, if you remember, Nico, when Chase left from Mauritius, he was actually in fantastic form.
Yeah.
And then he came back and he's picked it up again. He's going well.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, I spent a little bit of time with him actually a couple of weeks ago down at Port Elizabeth when we were there for one of the race meetings. A lovely guy and deserves all the opportunities he gets. He really is very approachable and speaks very frankly, as he did about his Mauritian experience, which we won't repeat. Anyway, that's it. That's the news on today's racing out at Turffontein. Thanks very much, Lyall Cooper. Thanks for contributing to the show. Always great to chat to you. And we're racing again on Saturday. I'm going to entrust you to come back on Saturday because I'm commentating on Saturday. I suspect you're working as well.
Yes, I am.
And I see there's some big fields there. So we'll regroup on Saturday. But all the best today. I'm sure you'll bump into Neil Andrews for Ready to Fly. Now that there are only 4 runners,
correct.
He's guaranteed a stake check. So it'll pay for the petrol for him to drive out there today, hopefully. Because
should I stand at the second box to greet Neil?
Yeah, he'd prefer to stand in the winner's box. He'll tell you that his horse is going to win today, I think. But
I hope so.
But he'll be there. So have a good time and all the best, Lyall. Thanks for your input. Well done.
And of course, Nico, the viewers mustn't forget the big weekend coming, Summer Cup, where we're going to all those winners.
Let's mention that very quickly because and I will be, funny enough, I will be sometime over the weekend advertising the fact that our Clocking the Gallop direct line, which has proven so popular in its first 2 editions, will be back at the end of this month. An early warning for that because there's only 2 weeks really to go to that. I will be advertising it from the weekend, and that's where you can get all our selections, which is proving to be more and more popular as time goes on. Thanks for mentioning that. It's the Betway Summer Cup on Saturday, the 26th of November. That's Lyall Cooper and me doing the preview for today. All the best for your Thursday racing.